It's This Week in Bourbon, and that bright light ahead of you isn't the moon. And here's your headlines for October 17th, 2025. The TTB has announced their shutdown plan for the government shutdown. Kentucky has reached an all-time high of 16.1 million aging barrels of bourbon. And Pursuit Spirits, hello, has released the Pursuit United Kodama Mizunara bourbon. But before we get started, here's a quick word from our partners. Hey everybody, welcome back. It is another fantastic This Week in Bourbon. I call it a refreshed because we took last week off, we'll decompress and whatever, but that doesn't happen in the bourbon world. It's just more news piles up, more things pile up.
That's all right. We certainly missed you those 3 days. We were so lost without you.
It was a wild time probably without me.
It was pretty peaceful.
It was the when the cat's away, the mice will play kind of thing.
Yeah.
Nothing got accomplished while I was gone.
Actually, a lot got accomplished. It's a lot going on this time of year.
I bet.
O&D.
O&D, baby. O&D. So that one I talked about at the very beginning here is that bright light in front of you. I got to set the scene for you. So this girl is driving in the car and she sees the moon, and I'll let you hit the play button to take it from here.
Which one?
Right here in the middle.
What are you doing? I'm trying to video the moon. Look how pretty the moon is out tonight. That's Burger.
It was
Burger sign.
It was the Burger King sign. Yeah. She thought
That's
she was.
funny.
Yeah, the video was. I don't know. People see a lot of different things, maybe on different substances, but she was the passenger seat, by the way, too. So nothing to worry about.
See how the Burger King sign from a distance looks like
look like a moon,
especially if
it's all saturated out.
Had a gummy or something.
Yeah. What do you got in your hand right over there?
It's officially fall here in Kentucky, and so I got the new Nailed It from one of our talented bartenders, Mr. Joe Gallia.
Mr. Joe Gallia. Yeah, we just launched the new fall menu here at Trial and Error.
Oh man, that is tasty. I love our menu. They call it sweater weather.
Yes.
Whoever came up with that was brilliant. But this Nailed It is Fall on a Glass. It's Pursuit United Rye 88, which is really good. 88 proof expression. Laird's Apple Straight Brandy. I'm a huge fan of that. Grapefruit cordial, apple, and vanilla. I mean, it is everything you think that the ingredients. I mean, that isn't. He nailed it.
That's the story behind the idea. Nailed it, right?
Well, please tell me.
Oh, okay. So all of our bartenders.
I know it, but tell them.
Oh, okay. So all of our bartenders were tasked with actually coming up with a new cocktail for the fall menu, and Joe submitted this, and he didn't have a name for it. So when he made it for everybody, he tasted it and
see if we can get a close up on the.
Oh yeah,
there you go. It's got cinnamon garnish and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, but when he provided it to the bartenders, he tasted it and he goes, "Oh, it's good. I nailed it." And our head bartender said, "Well, what's the name?" And he was like, "I don't have a name." And he goes, "Well, you just said nailed it. I thought that's what you were trying to say." So anyway, that's how they came up with nailed it. But there's a lot of you want to give some other ideas of other stuff on the fall cocktail menu over here that you can come and get?
We got the basic being basic, which is a pumpkin spice meets an espresso martini.
It's actually really good.
It is really good because we had the I'm working late espresso martini made with bourbon that was really popular, but this is kind of like elevating it. For it's adapting it to fall.
It's just pumpkin and some chilies.
Then we have the Nailed It. Then we have Brings All the Boys to the Yard, which is barrel proof bourbon, coconut, cinnamon, star anise, smoked chili bitters, and molasses bitters. I thought this one sounded strange, but by God, it was so good.
Yeah.
It tasted really good. Your favorite fall cocktail or your favorite cocktail's favorite cocktail. So it's kind of a take on the porn star martini, but for a new generation. So it's Espolón Reposado tequila. Yes, we're not just a bourbon bar. We have a full cocktail menu.
We have a full cocktail menu.
Chinola, passion fruit liqueur, Strega, vanilla, lime, and indigenous Prosecco. I don't even know what that means, but
I don't either.
That sounds amazing. And then we have, oh my gourd. This one really speaks to me. I'm a huge...
You love gourds?
I do. I love butternut squash, this and that. But it doesn't taste like a butternut squash soup, but it's Dr. Bird Jamaican rum, apricot liqueur, butternut, orgeat.
I don't know. You sound like me right now. So keep going. This is actually fun to be on the other side of this.
Some tiki bitters and egg white. So it's kind of like has the vibrancy of a New York sour, but it has like the savoriness with that butternut squash liqueur, the orgeat, which is like a little orangey. It's really
Okay.
I thought I'd really love this one.
All right.
And then Katy Perry went to space. So this is a take on a spritz that you would want to drink around a campfire. And it's Watershed Bourbon Barrel 4 Peel Gin. Okay. St. George Spice Pear Liqueur. Absolutely love that stuff. Lemon, pear, fall spices, thyme, and indigenous Prosecco's hot item this year.
We love our indigenous
this
Prosecco here at Trial and Error.
Yes.
Yeah.
So come try them out. They're really tasty.
Yeah. Or you can just go to a website at trialanderror.com and you can see the whole menu
And
there.
you can fumble through their ingredients just like I did.
Exactly. Figure out which one speaks to you. But
Yes.
I do know that spritz, it was a highly requested item to have some sort of spritz on the menu. So
Yes.
can't wait to see how it does.
Spritz is popular.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we start talking about the bourbon news, other things is I want to do a quick call for ambassadors. We are trying to grow our ambassador team for Pursuit Spirits. So if you are located in San Antonio, Austin, or Dallas, Texas, please hit us up. We want you to come and be an ambassador for our brand. In addition, we've got 2 other areas. One is we'd like to have somebody in the DC area. So if around Washington, DC, we need an ambassador there. And you don't even have to live in DC. Maybe you commute to
It's
DC.
fitting to be an ambassador in DC.
It actually is.
Instead of, like Guatemala's ambassador, you can be Pursuit's ambassador.
You can go out to the fancy hotel bars and where all the other ambassadors are and get around and have a conversation and be like, yes, Turkey and Guatemala, Denmark, and Pursuit.
That's right.
And then our last one.
You're like, I'm an ambassador. Which country? Pursuit.
It's its own little annex island over in Louisville, Kentucky there. And if you're in the Columbus, Georgia area, we'd love to be able to talk to you as well. So if you are any of those areas, please send us an email to the Pursuit Spirits. You can just send it to me, Kenny@pursuitspirits.com. I'll get in touch with you and we'll make it happen. Love to have you join the team.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about some bourbon news. And this first one, this was supposed to be probably a couple weeks ago, and everybody knows that the government shutdown is still happening. But if you're unaware of how the TTB is going through this, I will show you exactly what their plan details were. So this is actually dated from October 1st, 2025. So the TTB currently has 459 employees. When the shutdown occurred, 398 employees have been furloughed, leaving around 61 staff members to perform essential duties. Now, most of the TTB's regular business will cease. That means nothing of this is happening right now. That's permits, labels, and formulas. So that's no new releases. That's no new fun stuff. That's no new DSPs that are actually going out right now. There's also non-criminal investigations. There's no tax returns that they're doing right now that do not include payments. So only essential functions are going to happen, and that's tax collection, protection of assets, which means securing the federal property and maintaining computer systems to prevent some data loss, legal enforcement, so making sure that you are not going through bankruptcy or liens or anything like that, and then any kind of exempt activities, which they say are provisions that will continue as it's funded by a separate appropriation. The shutdown process is expected to take about a half a day, with the furloughed employees securing government property before being sent home.
Yeah, what a pain.
It
If you're in
sure
the
is.
news business. I mean, I know a lot of industries are affected by the government shutdown, but it definitely hits home here.
Yeah. I was like, we had something lined up where we were going to get something moved over to us, but we can't get a transfer and bond approved until the government decides to
Open its doors
again. Yeah.
Agree on a budget.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's make it all happen. All right. Well, let's continue on. So Casey Jones has launched a new Bottle Your Own Bourbon Experience, and this allows guests to fill, cork, seal, and hand label their own directly from a distillery selected barrel. The current featured is a Triple Casked Amburana barrel, finished barrel cut. Don't know what that means, but it says it's known for its bold spice. The personalized bottle will be available exclusively in person for a price of $90. And the experience itself is, quote, complimentary with the purchase.
All right. Well, that's a great deal.
Not really. I'd want to throw $90 away down the drain if I had to drink Amburana.
Well, that's you. Some people like it.
And,
Not me. But
And that's why we will still put our heads in the sand and not do an Amburana finish.
yeah, that's one I'm probably drawing a line in the sand.
There we go.
There's some others I might give into, but that one.
That one's not going to happen. Not going to happen. All right, so let's talk about some other fun one is that a federal bankruptcy judge in Texas, which is Judge Scott Everett, has rejected the bankruptcy plan that was submitted by Kentucky Owl and its owner Stoli Group. It was aiming to pay off around $78 million in debt using their own bourbon barrels. The judge found the plan to be unfeasible, agreeing with the lender, that is Fifth Third Bank, that the current bourbon market is, well, and this is air quotes, or maybe real quotes here, dismal. The bank had argued that the glut in the market has depressed barrel prices so severely that pledging around 35,000 barrels of bourbon would cover only a fraction of the loan. The ruling highlights the financial challenges currently facing the whiskey industry, which has seen other companies like Garrard County Distilling and Luca Mariano face legal and financial troubles as well. There is going to be a new hearing scheduled where the judge will urge parties to propose new alternative plans.
Yeah, it's cases like this and a lot of investor barrels where investors weren't getting promised returns, and which is driving the values of barrels. You put 35,000 barrels on the market, it's going to
decrease it even more.
Yeah. So and I'm not surprised they rejected, because you look at the values, especially, if you have, what company is going to take on 35,000 barrels?
To offload 35,000 barrels?
It'd have to be a crazy deal.
I know.
So, yeah, that sucks for Kentucky Owl, but I understand the judge's ruling and Fifth Third's. But how else do you get the money?
Yeah, I don't know. Even if they were trying to get $2,000 a barrel, that gets you around $70 million. So that's not bad. It just depends.
I think it's just the scale of how many.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot. That's what? 5 times more than we have in inventory? 35,000?
It's 7 times more.
7 times more.
Yeah, 7 times more.
And that's what it's just like, ouch. And there's not a buyer. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, it's tough.
It is. All right. Maybe something to look up to. Like this is happy news. California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed AB 1246 into law, making California the largest state to now allow direct-to-consumer shipments of distilled spirits. This will go in effect on January 1st, 2026, and it has a few different key requirements for the shippers. One is eligibility. Only distilleries that produce less than 150,000 gallons annually will be eligible, and that includes out-of-state producers. You have to get a distilled spirits direct shipper permit, and that's for a fee of a nominal $25. There's a volume limit, meaning that you can't ship more than 2.25 liters of spirits per consumer per day. And of course, you have to be 21 or older, and you have to report this at the end of, it says an annual report to the ABC. However, it's only be open for a year. So it's only going to see exactly how it's going to go. Maybe it's a temporary thing, see how things go. But the 1-year nature of the law puts pressure on the industry to comply, and its success will likely determine if it extends or makes it permanent.
Yeah, it's very progressive, and I think, it's good to experiment for a year, do a proof of concept. Hopefully it goes well, and that shows other states, all right, this is a revenue, producing outlet for the state.
It is.
Yeah, so, and I would, people in the 3-tier are like, this is bad, this and that. And then I think everything can still exist as is, and even distributors can become a part of this. And so I think it's a good move forward.
And if you are wondering why we even touched on that, is because you should go listen to the roundtable that posted yesterday. It was a heated topic. It was a good one.
Yes, it is. And too, you got a lot of brands, craft, that are sub 150,000. It's tough for them to get shelf space, and you have consumers in certain states that it doesn't make sense to go try to get distribution in that state, but you have enough consumers to where you can get product to them. So I think it's a win-win, and hopefully this is a success.
Yes, I agree. And I didn't put it in here, but it was something that we had released as a press release last week, is that Pursuit is also now available in the European Union and the United Kingdom. So we're now Pursuit's going global.
That's right.
Yeah, so
we're going global.
Thank you to our partner of N10 Bourbons. If you are looking for Pursuit in not America, but you're across the Atlantic and you want to find it in Germany, UK, who else was there? There was maybe Netherlands. I can't remember exactly all the websites, but it was in the press release. So you can go ahead and you can order there. And from what I've heard, they've already sold out at Double Oak Bourbon.
No shock there.
I know. It's amazing. Love to see it. All right. Keeping this train rolling here. Jack Daniels is ending its decade-long program that provided this is kind of where it starts getting bad here, maybe a little bit. Jack Daniels is actually ending its long program where it provided local farmers with free or low-cost distillery slop, and which we know is that corn byproduct that usually, they feed their cattle and whatnot. However, this termination of this affordable feed source is forcing many of the farmers in the Moore County, Tennessee area to exit the cattle business, leading to a surge in cattle sales at local auction houses. Officials at the United Producers Auction House has reported an unprecedented volume of cattle being sold over the past month. Jack Daniels has stated it is contracted to provide nearly all the slop to a nearby company called Three Rivers Energy, which plans to convert it into fertilizer and green energy. Local farmers and industry experts fear that the loss of the feeding program will have a detrimental long-term impact on the regional agricultural community and potentially on food prices.
Yeah, it's an unintended consequence. A lot of distilleries are looking at how can we use this byproduct and create energy out of it. Or I know Heaven Hill's like doing the similar thing where they're going to be drying it, but I think they're
to a dry house or whatever.
To a dry house and wanting to use it for feed or fertilizer, whatnot. But
and if I'm not mistaken, like these companies are giving a kickback back to Jack Daniels. So Jack Daniels is finally making money on their byproduct, and it's not just a waste.
Yeah, and I think Buffalo Trace just invested in I don't know how many $1 million facility to deal with this issue as well. So it does suck for the farmers and the cattle farmers because you're like, whoa, my feed cost was X.
0.
And then all of a sudden you're like, well, crap, now I got to go pay for feed. So that's a shock to the system and an unintended consequence. But
I don't know about you, man. It's like a pound of ground beef at the grocery store has seemingly creeped up, I've noticed, over the past probably 2 years.
Oh,
it used to,
everything has.
I mean, it used to be, I think, like $3.99 a pound, and now it's somewhere. I think it's almost double that. I think it's like $5.99 or $6.99 a pound. At least the Kroger I shop at.
Yeah, that's about right.
Well, it's make beef great again.
That's right.
Okay,
it's what's for dinner.
Yeah, we'll have Fred come on. Did you know that Fred had a whole book on beef?
Yeah, he rated cattle like for prime choice.
Yeah,
all those. Yeah, Fred's done everything.
So if you want some other random interesting reading by our own Fred Minnick, you can go and pick up his book. It's called Beef Boy. I don't know what it was called, but you can go and
Burger Boy.
You can go and find on Amazon. Yeah, he's got a whole book on beef.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. And so our other one here is that Buffalo Trace is also starting to debut Night at the Distillery. It's a new Halloween experience. There will be a Night at the Distillery self-guided tour, which features storytelling and reveals the legends, folklore, and untold stories. And you also get to pair it with a cocktail and neat tastings.
You get to meet all the Wellers.
There you go. The ghost of Freddie Johnson. No, I'm just kidding. And for those seeking a deeper thrill, Buffalo Trace is offering a Night at the Distillery private ghost hunting experience. And that giveaway goes live today and ends before noon on October 22nd.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. I love Halloween. Halloween, I know people love Christmas. I love Halloween. Halloween
is fun.
It's even though this was the first year I tried to get my kid, I was like, hey, you're 12 years old. She would be 12 here in a couple of weeks. And it's like, do you want to go do your first real haunted house? She goes, nope, not at all. I said, all right, well, how about Field of Screams? And she goes, absolutely not. So anything you can say in that world, she's just going to be like, yeah, hard no, hard pass.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of those corn mazes and haunted houses. I don't know. It's like, why do I want to pay to be scared?
I mean, that's okay. I love Halloween. I hate horror movies. I do not like them whatsoever.
Oh,
but it's a weird thing for me.
Yep.
I'm much more of a comedy guy myself. All right. Our last news story here is that the Kentucky Distillers Association has announced that Kentucky has reached an all-time high of 16.1 million aging barrels of bourbon in its warehouses. And Kentucky distillers are paying around roughly $75 million in aging barrel taxes this year. That's a 27% increase from 2024 and a 163% increase over the last 5 years. Kentucky still remains the only place in the world that taxes their aging barrels of spirits. Next year marks the first year distillers will see some relief of a 4% reduction in the taxes, thanks to a gradual 20-year phase-out of the discriminatory tax passed by the Kentucky General Assembly back in 2023. The KDA is calling for a speedy return to reciprocal, tariff-free trade and has been advocating for the removal of trade barriers to keep bourbon competitive and unlock new markets.
Yeah, because the way they set it up, they really didn't have a cap on. It's just based on how
the more bourbon you make, the more money
the more you tax,
more
and so,
money Bardstown gets.
I know. So it's like, all right, these companies invested all this money in equipment and construction and farmers and all this and that, and then it's like we're stimulating the economy this way, and then on the back end, you're like, well, thanks for really building up our economy. We're going to tax you even more.
We'll just keep collecting.
Just keep collecting. So, I mean, I know there is a phase out plan, but it's a 20-year plan, so it's going to take a while. And by that time, maybe these barrels be gone. But
maybe there won't be 16.
Hopefully it doesn't take 20 years to get rid of all these.
If there's still 16 million barrels, then hopefully the population is really loving bourbon, and it's just like depleting as fast as we can.
Yeah.
When I say population, not in America, but the world. We need the whole world drinking bourbon, man. All right, that's it for the bourbon news. But as usual, stick around. We've got some great bourbon release news coming up. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's bourbon release news time. I'm going to steal this drink over here. I'm going to steal this drink over here. I'm going to take a little sippy sip myself.
It's tasty. Tastes like fall.
Get that cinnamon stick right up there in your nostrils. All right. So this first news release, this is actually kind of a fun one because we've known about this for a little bit. Like they've had these barrels stored, but they finally decided we're going to go with it. Sagamore, a prominent Maryland rye distillery, has debuted its first ever high rye straight bourbon as a limited release in its Reserve series. This new expression pays tribute to both Kentucky bourbon and Maryland rye traditions. The Maryland bourbon has made a mash bill of 60% corn, 25% rye, and 15% malted rye. It was aged for 6 years in new charred American white oak barrels and is bottled at 59%. I'm going to skip the tasting notes, but this will be available in Maryland, is where it says it's going to be starting to roll out in October for a suggested retail price of $50.
Oh, wow. I was fortunate to try these barrels I think they were 4 at the time, 3 or 4. And I was like, holy crap, these are good.
They're good.
I want these, but they wouldn't sell them to us.
They wouldn't sell them to us, but I believe our friends, over at the Bourbon Junkies, they got a few different barrels.
They did.
Yeah. So that was really good. Yeah. I remember later on being offered the barrels, but we had already gone too far down the path with our own products. And we said, there's nowhere that we could fit this in our portfolio. So, I guess they were sitting on this and like, what the hell do we do with it?
Right.
Yeah.
And the initial response online, it's very favorable. People are really loving it. So, which I'm not surprised. Sagamore makes incredible whiskey. I mean, obviously we love the rye, but this bourbon's, I haven't tried it at this proof or age, but I'm sure it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know that since this is part of the Reserve series, if they released it, but then they go, we weren't making bourbon the entire time, so this is it. Like, right. I don't know. Like,
I don't know if they did like limited runs of it every year, so it's like a continual product, or it's just kind of a one-time thing. I don't know. I wasn't privy to that information.
They don't share everything with us, but we did try a few good things back in the day.
Yep.
Let's keep this going here. So Woodford is releasing a new limited edition expression, and this is their barrel strength rye. And Elizabeth McCall, their master distiller, used a pre-prohibition style mash bill of 53% rye, and the same mash bill as Woodford Reserve rye, but bottled at the strength of the collected batch of barrels, which is 125.1 proof, and is going to be in a 700 ml bottle for a price tag of $130.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be good. I've had Woodford Rye before. I thought it was good. I am pretty sure I had this at Derby last year, but I can't remember. And
I can't either.
They
throw a lot at you.
Yeah, I know. They're like, hey, try this. I'm like, absolutely. I'm here to have fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming Old Forester rye is pretty similar. And I've had those President's Choice ryes, which are, I'm assuming, similar. But I know those are single barrels.
They can't be doing more than probably 2 rye mash bills.
I love their rye whiskey, so I'm sure this is fantastic.
Let's make rye great again.
That's right.
Right. That's gonna be my theme and motto for this particular episode. Is whatever it is, let's make it great.
That's again. Like Jim Gaffigan was like saying, I still haven't found my rye time yet. Like he hasn't been, and I was like, well, This means your palate sucks. It hasn't made it.
It hasn't made it yet.
Yeah, it hasn't made it yet. You're still in the infancy stage.
Yeah. Let's give a shout out for that
kidding.
as well.
Jim, your palate doesn't suck.
Yeah, but let's give a shout out for that as well. We had the opportunity last week. Jim Gaffigan was shooting a new stand-up special here in Louisville, Kentucky, and it was called a bourbon set. And I had tears in my eyes. I was crying. It was a really good time. We had a chance to interview Jim on the Monday prior to that as well. And so we'll be releasing that at around the same exact time. It will be releasing, I believe it'll be on YouTube. And so if you are a bourbon fan, just get ready.
It's so funny.
It's like he made fun of all the things that hit closest to home for all of us.
Pretty much every PR release we read every week.
As much as we'd like to think that we're having fun joking here, but he's a
He
professional.
takes it to a whole nother level.
A professional just brought it out and just made it. I mean, I know everybody that was there just had a good time. So I can't wait for you out there in bourbon drinking consumer podcast listening land to finally listen to it as well. And it'll be something that you'll want to pour yourself something, sit on the couch and watch the whole damn thing.
That's right.
Yep.
It's very entertaining. And only like 30 minutes.
It was 30 minutes of just bourbon, and then it was 30 minutes of other comedy on the back end of that too. And you got somewhat of a shout out in your set. It wasn't in mine. He made a little poke at Amburana in your set.
Wow.
I don't think I had that in mine because he did 4 different sets that week.
And I think me and one other person laughed because a lot of people in the room use Amburana. So I thought it was funny.
Yeah. I think,
I gave a woo.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. All right, let's keep going here. So High West Distillery has launched a Midwinter's Night Dram Act 13. This limited release is inspired by Shakespeare, if you didn't know that. The sought-after expression is crafted from High West flagship Rendezvous Rye and a blend of straight rye whiskeys aged 4 to 10 years old and finished in ruby and tawny port barrels. Act 13 is available in limited quantities across the U.S. as well as at High West Saloon and Distillery in Winship, Utah. The straight rye mash bill consists of 95.5 from MGP and an 80-20 rye from High West Distillery. There is no price tag on it, but I'm sure it's expensive because it is every single year.
Yeah, I think it's like $150, something around there.
Yeah.
But it's usually really good. I always like these.
Yeah.
They're fun.
I haven't had one in so long. So long. I yearn for some more Shakespeare in my life.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
Amburana, not to be.
That's right.
Templeton Distillery has unveiled its Templeton 13-year-old rye whiskey. Rye not. It's the first release from its new highly limited Hidden Stash collection. This expression is the pinnacle of the distillery's aging program, featuring carefully selected sourced rye barrels that matured over a decade in Templeton, Iowa. And it has a mash bill of 95.5, go figure, and it's in heavily charred new oak barrels. It's bottled at 108 proof, and I'm going to skip those tasting notes. Yeah, but it has a suggested retail price of $170.
Ooh.
So,
well, I guess it's 13-year.
13-year, I'm assuming, source. So it's MGP, 13-year rye, 108 proof, 170. I mean, I guess if that's like what Rare Character's doing and some of their stuff, I guess the price isn't too off.
Yeah, but it doesn't come with your own custom label.
It doesn't. And wax that you to make sure you don't cut your hand on.
Wax that you have to torch off.
I know.
It's all part of the experience.
It sure is. It's why not? Right? That's great. Just get ready to have some stitches in. Well, I guess this is going to be the freaking podcast of rye because Smoke Hill, they are announcing the release of its first rye expression of Smoke Hill barrel proof rye whiskey, which will be available in October 2025. And this limited edition rye, with fewer than 1,400 cases produced, features a 4-grain mash bill that includes heirloom blue corn, yellow corn, rye, and malted barley. The whiskey is distilled in Indiana, then barreled and matured for 5 years at Colorado Springs at around 6,100 feet. The high altitude, fluctuating climate, it's used to accelerate the aging, and to ensure brand consistency, a percentage of Smoke Hill's flagship bourbon is then blended into the rye. Okay, so is it a rye or is it a boo rye? We'll hit that. But the final proof, it says it's gonna be in a range between 131.2 and 131.7. Couldn't we just split the difference? And it's going to have a suggested retail price of $90.
So are they single barrels or? they're just different batches, or what?
No,
why the variation?
I just don't think that they knew what the final proof was going to be yet.
Well,
they're like, we're gonna go ahead and just put the cart before the horse, and
they're outside that 0.3 tolerance. So I guess but the TTB shut down. You might be able to get away with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like nobody's checking on anything right now.
It's not essential.
Yeah, but at Smoke Hill, man, Smoke Eye, they've been on a kind of a tear recently. I know that they won the Ascots, and that really kind of catapulted them. And they know they sell a bunch of stuff on Seal Box, and it sells out pretty regularly as well. But they didn't give in here, which is very, very odd. They call it a rye whiskey, but they blended bourbon into it. That's not a rye whiskey. That's
a rye content's higher than the corn. If it's 51% or higher, then it can be a rye whiskey.
Okay, so Ryan, this goes back into like a religious debate. Can you make it a rye whiskey by blending it, or does it have to be distilled as a rye whiskey?
I don't know. Well, that's the TTB when they get back up and running.
Okay.
I mean, I believe it needs to be distilled as it, much like a 4-grain needs to be distilled as 4-grain, not blended, but the consumer doesn't care.
Same thing. It's like you just add an ounce of wheat into it, then all of a sudden it's a wheated bourbon.
Yes.
Golly, that's the buzzword.
What marketing term can we play off?
I don't know, but if Smoke Eye paid attention to anything in the market, they would know that rye whiskey is the hardest damn thing to sell. Like, don't call it rye whiskey. Call it something else. Well, we'll see. They'll probably do just fine. They'll be on the pedestal.
Call it a high rye bourbon.
See, there you go. But they'll be on the pedestal again at Ascot. So
that's right.
We'll see what happens here. All right, keeping this going here. So Four Roses and New Belgium have collaborated again to release the Oak Spire Bourbon Barrel Ale. This is a beer for bourbon lovers and is available for a limited time at select retailers nationwide. And this annual release combines the craftsmanship of both brands with Four Roses mellow spice with New Belgium's craft beer innovation. The beer is made by infusing New Belgium's high rye base ale flavor with the notes of charred oak chips from inside bourbon barrels and bourbon-soaked oak spirals. It's going to be available, I don't know, almost everywhere soon.
All right.
Yeah. They gave like 10 different locations. Like, I'm not reading that.
Yeah. I mean, you're a beer guy. I'm not a huge fan of these barrel-aged or barrel-influenced beers, but I know a lot of people are.
This one isn't my favorite because I'm more of a stout guy. This is still an ale at the end of the day. So
maybe I'd like an ale.
It's a different kind of beer.
I don't like pale ales.
I'd hate IPAs.
Yeah.
It's anybody that knows me and they're like, hey,
lagers.
You should try this IPA. And I was like, does it taste anything like hops? Like, it's super hop heavy. I'm like, I'm going to hate it.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to hate it.
Bitter, citrus bitter.
It's one of those acquired tastes that I just have not yet developed the palate for.
I know. We're just not advanced enough.
We're not. So come try our sweet cocktails at Trial and Error.
That's right.
All right, let's keep going here. The Ingram Distillery has announced the arrival of its 2025 flagship bourbon. This is a highly coveted, ultra-premium expression that is meant to showcase river aging at its best. Every vintage of flagship is a unique blend of its finest barrels of the year and personally crafted by Ingram's master blender, Scott Bayer. Yeah, Bayer. The
ibuprofen.
Yeah, I was to say like the capsules there. Batch 5 is more than a small batch. It is a micro batch, a blend of only 8 high rye bourbon barrels with a mash bill of 36% rye, 60% corn, 4% malted barley, with a proof of 116.5. And this creates the only whiskey in the world that spends its entire life on the Mississippi River with barrel houses that are custom built on former grain barges, which I'm not going to read anything else. You just know that if you want to learn more about that, you can go listen to our past episode that we had with our friend Ingram over there herself.
Yeah, most people call their core lineup the flagship, but with their brand, it actually makes sense because it's on a boat.
It reverses everything.
That's right.
That's always been one of the things that, like, as part of the marketing is you always say, like, this is our flagship, blah, 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 blah. But we've now noticed in the whiskey world, you can't call something flagship if it's like your core products because nobody wants flagship. Nobody wants the regular kind. That's the boring stuff. Like, give me the interesting. Give me the new.
To whiskey geeks.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't go out and say this is our flagship, like, because I think that at the end of the day, I think it's just it's like a big red X on it.
In your eyes.
In my eyes, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going here. Russell's Reserve is going to announce its 4th annual release in the single Rickhouse collection. This is Camp Nelson E. For this year's release, Eddie Russell chose the barrels from the 5th floor of Camp Nelson E, and this is nestled near the Kentucky River with more airflow and slower aging conditions, creating a unique microclimate. The result, well, it's going to be non-chill filtered, bottled to 128 proof, and will be on shelves at U.S. retailers, but I do not have a price tag on it.
That's pretty high proof for turkey stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not really. I mean, remember when we had Bruce on and he kind of talked about all these barrels?
They proofed it down to one, I don't know, what was Russell's 13, like 113, 114?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually they don't release them this high, but they're probably like, let's make these whiskey nerds happy and throw a high proof flavor be damned.
Just keep creeping on up there, right? Do
they do them in order? Are they like, is it A, B, C, D, E, the release on the Camp Nelson? There's not that many warehouses in Camp Nelson, is there? I don't know.
I have no idea, honestly.
David Jennings.
David, we should probably just read his book and we would know that already.
That's right.
So Bluegrass Distillers, they are partnering with Pasadena Tournament of Roses to release a limited edition toasted oak bourbon. This is a secondary aged in toasted American oak barrels, bottled at 100 proof, suggested retail price of $50, and will be available for pre-order via Bourbon Outfitter with distribution to California. And this is going to be a feature promotion and sampling during the Tournament of Roses festivities.
That's fun. That's the big college bowl game.
Well,
right?
It's the Rose Bowl.
Right.
Yeah,
the Rose Bowl. Yes.
Part of it.
I know.
Yeah.
Duh.
Love the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? All right. So here's kind of like the big one. And I didn't even put it on the headlines because we're already a few weeks late, but this is the announcement of BTAC, the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, right? With the addition of a very brand new Colonel E.H. Taylor bottled and bond bourbon. And this marks the first new expression in the collection since 2006. Now, BTAC Collection, Antique Collection, honors the distillery's historic brands and visionaries alongside a new one. But, you have Eagle Rare 17, George T. Stagg, Thomas Handy, Saz 18, William Lou Weller, all that sort of stuff. I didn't even put all the deets in there because you probably already read everything. But the one that stands out is that this year's George T. Stagg is hazmat. So people are already losing their shit.
Man.
Right? And
it's got to be so much better.
It's got to be. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll get a chance to try it. But this is going to be available for a retail price of $150 per bottle.
Best deal in bourbon.
Best deal in bourbon. I know. I actually there was a really funny video with Kevin over on TikTok and talked about how when this comes out, everybody just gets all up in arms. We're like, oh, I'll never see it, or it's too expensive. And everybody's just mad. And he goes, why are you upset? It's like, if you see a nice car, you're not mad because you can't have it. It's just like, it's just there. It's like, cool. Like, just move on.
Right. Yeah. Like, oh, it's nice. I saw a McLaren the other day. I was like, oh, it's pretty cool. I wasn't like, oh, I ain't going to never get one of those.
Yeah, you can't be mad about it. It's just what it is. So it's a good way to take a deep breath and realize at the end of the day, it's just bourbon.
It is.
There will be another bottle out there.
There's 16 million barrels of it right now.
So there's going to be one for you.
That's right.
That's what's going to happen. All right. So Heaven Hill has also announced the inaugural release of its Heaven Hill Grain to Glass Specialty Barrel Series. This is an extension of its already existing Grain to Glass line. The Specialty Barrel Series features 3 Kentucky whiskeys. It's a straight bourbon whiskey, a wheated bourbon, and a straight rye whiskey, each aged for 6 years in Chinkapin oak barrels. Unlike the traditional grain to glass releases that were aged in number 3 charred white oak, these are going to start exploring a new dimension of maturation. I'm going to skip some more, but just know that these are going to be available for an MSRP of $130. Oh, yeah.
How many times has grain to glass came out this year? I feel like we've read it.
This is like the 4th time, I think, is what it feels like.
I do like Chinkapin oak as a vessel. It's good.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that. Any other things you want to put in the diary of a microphone right now?
Yeah. Speaking of wood, I gotta give. Oh, never mind. You're going to talk about it, so move on.
Okay, never mind. We're going to talk about it in a minute. Chattanooga whiskey is also, because Chattanooga's always got something going on.
I know.
Their newest is a bottled and bond of vintage fall 2021, distilled and barreled at the company's Riverfront Distillery from July 21st to December 21st. This is developed through collaborative multi-month selection processes by the entire distilling team. SB 104 is the latest vintage that features this, and it's made of only 3 grains, 2 roasted and 2 roasted and a toasted malt. Simply yet aromatically rich and blah, 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 blah. So anyway, the final blend consists of 4 mash bills. It's 30% of SB091, 20% of 0005, 30% of SB 055, and 20% of SB 104, which is that new one. Wait, and you think our like coding system's complicated? Come on. Anyway, this is going to be available for a release of $53, available beginning October 16th.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
I love their facility. If you've never been there,
I've never been
it's
there.
really nice.
Never been.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I've been to Chattanooga.
Oh, you got to go. It's an awesome city.
Again, I'm at the distillery every day. I gotta get work done. I gotta make sure things are happening.
That's your fault.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, progress. That's what I'm trying to make happen.
That's right.
All right. A little about us here. So Pursuit has released Pursuit United Kodama Mizunara Bourbon. This is a limited edition cask strength whiskey bottled at 117 proof. And the name Kodama refers to the tree spirits in Japanese folklore, honoring the unique oak used by the blend. The release defies convention by blending two different distinct finishes using our same triple mash bourbon base. First is the Japanese Mizunara oak, and then there's also an infrared toasted American oak that will add intense vanilla character, providing a sweet and creamy foundation. This will be available for a limited time at the Pursuit Spirit store on Whiskey Row for a total of $90.
Best deal in bourbon.
Best deal in bourbon.
Yeah,
That's
this
what I
was
say.
a fun one. This has pushed us out of our comfort zones a little bit, going with a different, typically we've only worked with French and American oaks, and this one was fun. The Mizunara was good on its own, but I just thought it was missing some depth and some sweetness because Mizunara is very sandalwoody, gingery, cinnamony, and there was some little bit of sweetness, but I was like, I just could use like a little more.
It's more earthy than anything.
And then that adding in that infrared toast barrel just like really rounded it out. And I thought it was awesome. And the feedback from the P Club, people are absolutely loving it. So, and I have to give a shout out to Ari Sussman. He read about this release and he was like, congratulations. He's like, actually, I've been working on a project. And so he sent me this, it was a 10-page article basically like on the history of Mizunara and American oak. And he wants to fund research because Mizunara has great properties for aging, but it has downfalls that it leaks, it's porous, it grows crooked, so you don't really get to harvest many staves out of it. And so he wants to try to combine American oak with Mizunara, genetically creating a American Mizunara version here, but it's going to cost about $250,000.
Oh, wow.
And it'll take 20 years or 200 years to see the outcomes because...
Well, I don't have that time, but maybe Monsanto does.
That's right.
I was like, maybe they can make it happen.
But
Well,
it's a
that's very
fascinating
cool.
article, though, that he wrote and published. And if you're into wood and why distilleries and for years have chosen American or French oak or Mizunara or whatever type, he breaks it all down and talks about the different compounds and why they're used and the strengths and weaknesses of each cooperage and barrel types. It's a fascinating article.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks, Ari.
yeah, thank you, Ari, for that. And also, I will give a tip of the hat to you, Ryan. Great job on the blend. I think it turned out amazing. I got a chance to sample this to a few different groups recently, and everybody loved it. And I think what we did by not just doing a straight Mizunara finish and actually blending it with something else kind of just speaks true to the nature of what we're trying to do and just not be like what everybody else is doing. Like, let's be a little bit different. Let's have some fun with it, right?
Yeah, let's play in a box, but get out of the box a little bit.
There we go.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. So it's going to be limited. I think we're getting ready to bottle another 65 cases of it or something.
70, I think.
Yeah. And then after that, she gone.
Then
off to the next one. So
I know. It's like you create these and you're like, oh, damn, I wish I created more. But that's part of the experimentation, right?
It can always come back at a later date.
It can come back.
That's what it's all about. All right. So let's keep talking about some flavored stuff. So Penelope, they're introducing apple cinnamon old fashioned just in time for their new ready to pour cocktail that reimagines the classic with the festive flavor. I'm going to skip all this because this is like their 92nd full fashion release, but there's going to be 11,000 cases that are going out. It's going to have a price tag of $30.
Yeah. These have been very popular. They're flying. People like them.
I tried it. Not this one, but what's the one that was on our
walnut.
Yeah, the black walnut's on our desk. It was good, and it fits the the
I mean, it's
laziness.
very sweet.
It fits a laziness factor in me where I just want to just pour it
on
out.
ice.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to compare it to a craft cocktail made at a bar or something like that, but it's good
solid.
enough in a pinch.
Yeah, and it's only $30.
Yeah. And you get probably a lot more old fashions out of that. So.
Yeah, you probably get like 10 or 12 out of it, depending on how much you pour.
Yeah. I pour mine with a beer stein, so I get 2.
A beer stein?
I'm just kidding.
I don't even know what a beer stein is.
I like to party on Fridays. Right?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, 3 more. Here we go. Old Overholt is launching a limited edition of Old He's trying to say that one 10 times. Old Overholt Extra Age Cash Strength 12-year Kentucky Style Rye. Distilled and barreled in the spring of 2013, the liquid is aged for 12 years in Kentucky warehouses, unfiltered, cash strength it says between 53 and 65% ABV. That's quite a
range,
yeah. And it's going to be available for $110 a bottle.
See, I thought Overholt was like all their Pennsylvania rye style, but I could be, obviously I'm clearly wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. This one says Kentucky rye style. We can't keep up anymore. We can't. The Bears. Here's for Chicago. Blue Run Spirits is releasing a limited edition commemorative bottle honoring the 40th anniversary of the Chicago Bears 1985 season.
It's a great year.
The commemorative blue year you're born, right? There we go.
Yep.
This Blue Run high rye bourbon whiskey bottles were designed in partnership with the Chicago Bears, and each of the limited edition bottles carries a custom Viceroy butterfly medallion and label design inspired by the monsters of the Midway, with the exclusive packaging proudly identifying Blue Run as the official bourbon of the Chicago Bears. The commemorative release of this high rye bourbon is bottled at 111 proof, an SRP of $90. And Blue Run Chicago Bears commemorative high rye bourbon limited edition bottle will be available in October in retailers around Illinois as well as Sealbox.
Very cool. Bears are having a decent season. I think they're 3-2 now, or maybe 4-2. I don't know. They just won again on Sunday, but they've been playing good.
I'll never understand.
They've been sucking the last few years.
Yeah, okay.
Caleb Williams finally got it going on.
Very good. I was going to say, I never understand that if you have even one win, say you're 3-2, that's considered a good season.
Well, if you've watched the NFL this year, nobody's really a standout. I mean, you have the Colts who have one loss, but they've almost lost to some bad teams. But even the Bills are 3-2 or 4-2. It's there's nobody it's been the craziest years in NFL that it's evenly matched. It's fun.
How's Taylor's boyfriend doing?
He's doing better this year.
Oh, good.
I guess he got that monkey off his shoulder of getting engaged, and because the last few years he's kind of been womp. I shouldn't say that. He kicked my ass.
Yeah, as I say, I was hey, if New Heights, if you want to come on the podcast, let us know. Love to have you.
That's right.
All right, our last one here is that you're getting ready for the holidays because we talked about October, but you're probably already thinking about Christmas, aren't you? Woodford Reserve has announced its 2025 holiday bottle featuring artwork by fashion designer Alexandra O'Neill, which is the founder
I love her.
Do you?
I don't know her.
Because she's the founder of the luxury brand Markarian. This is the first time Woodford Reserve has collaborated with a fashion designer for the annual holiday bottle. The label features a garland stripe of winter berries and an alternating star set against a sage backdrop. It's a 1-liter bottle that will be available around the globe for a price tag of $50.
It amazes me that people love these. They this and the Derby Woodford bottles that people just still gobble them up.
Yeah.
They have one for every year.
But this one's different. It's not by an artist that was hand-drawn using watercolors or something. It's a fashion designer.
Yeah.
They're switching things up.
Bougieing it up.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe it'll come with a nice little tiny neck purse or something.
Comes in a clutch.
Yeah. And maybe you can put the bottle in the clutch.
That sounds amazing.
Bourbon and bags.
That's right. Bourbon and bags.
It's going to be the next show we come out with. All right. That's it. That is a lot of This Week in Bourbon. Thanks for sticking with us.
I think it was This Week in Rye.
It really was a little bit. We should not. No, we're not creating another show, but I do like seeing all the rye whiskey releases. They're my favorite.
Yep.
All right, y'all. That's it. We'll see you soon. Cheers.
Come see us trial and error. Great cocktails. Cheers. Or toodles.
There it is.